Hello everybody and welcome back to another review from Fifield Junction. Yeah, we've got another loco once again. Well, obviously we mainly look at locos, we rarely look at anything else. But yeah, we've got another loco and it's another Hornby diesel that we've got today. As we can see, we've got a Hornby Class 60 today. Obviously last time we looked at the Hornby Class 56, well a Hornby Class 56, the DCR one. But today we've jumped ship, still on Hornby ship, but we've jumped from one loco to another, and yeah, it's a Class 60 that we've got today. Now I have done quite a few Class 60s from Hornby before, but this is the first what I classify as the newer style Class 60 that the Hornby have done. If you go and see my other reviews of Hornby Class 60s, you may see that they are the older style Class 60 that Hornby have done. So that's the old style packaging. Obviously it's not this block of ice packaging, it's the old sort of polystyrene tray packaging. So it's the older tooling Hornby Class 60. But this one is the newer style one. It's got a slightly different circuit board inside. I believe there might be a few other differences as well. For the most part it is the same, like the tooling is mainly exactly the same. But a few of the innards are a bit different to the older one. So it's not massively different, but there are a few changes and improvements that were made to this model compared to the older one. And the livery, as we can see, it's in the rail. This is the railfreight coal sector livery, so it's an older livery that we've got as well. And this is the livery that this particular one, 60090. This is the livery that this particular one was in when it first came out in 1992, I believe it was. I believe it was 1992 was when this particular loco came into service. And this is the livery that it was first painted in when it came out. It is named, as you can see. I'm not going to, well, I'll try and pronounce the name. I think it's Queenag, something like that. I'm probably wrong. I probably just got that completely wrong. Yeah, it is named as well. This is a second-hand model. This one isn't brand new. I can't remember when Hornby released this particular one. I know it's quite a few years ago now. It might have been around 2015, 2016, maybe 2017, around then roughly. So yeah, it's not that new. It's at least probably, I'd say this model is at least 5 years old now, maybe more. So it's not brand new, but it is still a new style Class 60. If you were to buy a Hornby Class 60 today, this is pretty much exactly what you get. The tooling would be exactly the same, inside it would be exactly the same. So yeah, it wouldn't be that much difference. If we look at the end of the box, we can see there, so it's R3266 is the model code for this model. It's a BR Coco Coal Sector Class 60 diesel electric locomotive. Muddling my words again. And it's number 60090. Again, they've got the name there. Obviously the Class 60 in real life, 100 of them were built. Still quite a few running. Unfortunately, the majority are not running anymore. But it looks like a lot of them are going to be coming back into service as well, now at least. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of you are probably familiar. If you were to go to Toten in the past, for the past sort of 15 years or so, something like that, then it was just two big long lines of these, mostly in EWS, but a few mainline ones. Some of them still carrying the railfreight triple grey, all lined up, quite sadly, rotting away and stuff. But a lot of them now have been purchased by DC Railfreight, and they're going to be bringing some of them back into service. I think one of them has been scrapped so far. Others have gone to, I think, other companies. I think some have been preserved as well. So for the most part, most of them are still around, I think, apart from one. I can't remember exactly which one was scrapped. I think it might be 60006 maybe. I could be wrong. I think it might be 60006 is the one that's been scrapped, but I could be wrong. But most of them are still around, and quite a few of them are still running. And as the years go on from now, we should see more of them returning to service, which is good, because I really like them. I really like the Class 60. I think it's an amazing locomotive. I love seeing them. I think they sound really, really good. This will also be my first non-sound version as well, actually, because the other three, I have three more of these, all sound fitted. This will be the first non-sound one that I'll have until I put sound in it, obviously. But yeah, the box is not too bad. It's the typical Hornby packaging that we're quite used to. We can see there 2005 is when Hornby first drew up this tooling, and you've got some of the diagrams there. And you've got information there about the Class 60 as well, and there's information there about this particular one as well. As you can see, yeah, there you go, 1992 was when this one came in. And again, it talks about how it was painted in the BR subsector with the railfreight coal sector as well. So yeah, it talks about the livery this was first painted in, which was obviously this one. After that, it went and became part of the load haul fleet. Whether it was actually repainted into load haul livery, I'm not too sure. I'm fairly certain it probably was. And then we can see in April 2008, it was then stored at Toten TMD. And at the time, well, obviously at the time when this was released, it was still there. But I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that will be coming back into service with DC Rail. So hopefully, fairly soon, well, whenever they get round to it, we should hopefully see this one returning to the main line, which would be good. But apart from that, there's not much else interesting on the box. So let's open it up and have a look. Now, I have already had the loco out. Well, I got her for a really good price actually, which was nice. But she was a bit of a stuttery runner. I had to give her a bit of a clean. I gave her a bit of a clean, gave her a bit of oil, and gave her a run round, and seems to be working perfectly now. And she's also been chipped as well. She's had a 8-pin Train-O-Matic DCC decoder fitted. I will show you how to take the body off on these as well, actually, because I don't think I've done that before. Just so you can see how you take the body off and how to fit the chip and everything. But put the loco to one side. We'll have a very quick look at the instructions. Again, I highly recommend, I know I've said this in most of my reviews, but again, I highly recommend looking through the instructions on your locos, especially, for example, if this is the first time you've ever bought a Hornby Class 60 and you don't really know much about them, about how to take the body off, how to service them and stuff. I highly recommend looking through these because they are very, very good. Most of the time, the instructions from Hornby are very useful. So it talks about the general things. You've got the motor, the chassis, lubrication, the general things that are important. And if you open it up, we can see we've got accessories. Again, more about the lubrication, body removal, where to put a speaker for sound. There is plenty of room inside this model for a decent speaker, which is good. It talks about, it also talks, we can see with this Hornby haven't really updated these instructions for the newer versions, because it still has the bit there about the factory fitted sound versions, which were released, I think, near enough around the same time when Hornby first released this high quality Class 60, when they basically first released this super detailed version of the Class 60. Is roughly around when Hornby started doing the factory sound versions, and they didn't do many of them, and they don't do them anymore. So they could do with removing that bit, to be honest, because, well, at least I'm fairly certain that when Hornby slightly retooled these, where they changed the circuit boards and everything, I'm pretty sure they haven't done any factory sound versions since then. So one thing they probably could have done when they did that is remove this bit in the instructions about the 21-pin factory sound versions. Because, yeah, they haven't done any. The only sound fitted version that they've done, as from what I'm aware of anyway, since they partially retooled this model, the only sound version that I think they've done is the TTS sound one, Dolo, the DV one. I don't think they've done any other sound versions since they retooled this, apart from that one. So, but I could be wrong. I always could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. It talks about, this model does have day and nighttime running lights as well. Not many of Hornby's locos have that, I believe, so it's nice that they've done it on this model. No cab lighting, but you can fit some if you want to, and you can get a kit actually for these. Roads and Rails do a Class 60 cab lighting kit. If you want it, then go and check out the website. He does do a lighting kit, a cab lighting kit for all the Class 60s if you want it. I don't need it though, because I don't use cab lights, so but it's nice that you can fit a kit if you want to. And then, yeah, nothing else much interesting on the instructions. So we can now grab the loco. So if we just slide off the plastic, it's a little bit tight. Ooh, there we go. We can see the detail bag here. I think a few of the details might have already been fitted, but I think most of them are still in here. So we can see they've got some of the snow plows detailing there. I'll definitely fit some of those, so they do look good, I think, in my opinion. They've got some spare couplings, and then we've got the usual sort of vacuum pipes and electrical cables. General stuff really, which is nice. So it's nice that we've got that. And then move the packaging out of shot. There we go, and then we can lift this up. There was a plastic like film over the top of the loco as well, but I took that out a long time ago, but it was just annoying putting it back on top of the loco because it just falls off. It's like a silky material, isn't it? So yeah, didn't really want to put it back on the loco when I boxed it back up not too long ago. There we go. And here is the loco. And wow. Well, I don't think I need to say anything for the moment. Yeah, I won't say anything for the moment. I'll just pan across the loco slowly so you can see. Yeah, yeah, she is amazing. One of the best diesels that Hornby make, in my opinion. Really good. So you've got sprung buffers, which is nice. They don't come black, painted black on this model, I believe, because again, this is a second-hand model, and I believe the previous owner painted the buffers black. Apparently, I think it was specified that's realistic for this particular loco. I'm not too sure, but well, it might not be, but they look pretty good being black, I suppose. So yeah, but by default, if you were to buy this model, those buffers would be silver, I believe, but they are metal, so, which is nice. Again, you have got the working lights, again, night and day running lights, which are controlled on the switch on the bottom of the fuel tank there, as you can see. The livery application looks really good. I'm not an expert on the railfreight triple grey livery. Obviously, I know that I buy quite a few of the railfreight triple grey locos and locos from that era, in which I know I don't model that era, but I model modern day. I model the modern Great Western Main Line, but I just love seeing the railfreight triple grey livery so much. I love seeing the models of it and videos online of it. That I just really wanted to get a small fleet of locos in this livery to run on a small layout, because I thought it looked so good. So that's why I've slowly built up this collection of various railfreight triple grey liveries with the various coal sector symbols. Yeah, I really don't know what to say. It's a fantastic model. There is a little bit of damage on this end. You can see one of the horns is missing. There's a bit of a gluey mess on them as well. But the ones at the other end are perfectly fine, as we can see there. The roof grills here are proper etched metal pieces. They are separately fitted and they feel really good as well. You've got the separately fitted exhaust detail there as well. It all needs weathering up and greasing up and stuff to make it look more realistic. But as it is, it looks pretty good. Obviously the weight, loads and loads of weight, which is nice. It's probably one of the heaviest models you could buy, actually. It's really heavy. It's insane, to be honest. I suppose one of the main problems I'd say with this model, as nice as it is, the bogie frames on these, they do feel quite delicate. Hornby haven't designed them in the best lights, in my opinion. They are quite delicate because they aren't actually attached to the wheel sets. They literally just rest on the main bogie blocks. Actually, if you were to disconnect this bogie from the model and remove it completely, this entire bogie frame section is all one solid piece, and it literally just rests on top of basically where the bogie pivots in the chassis here. It literally just rests on top of it. It's not fixed to the logo. It's just the way it's been tooled, which is why it feels quite loose. It's literally just sits basically on top of the main bogie block section in the middle. I hope you know what I mean. I can't really think of any other way to explain it, to be honest. But yeah, it's not attached to the model. It's literally just it's just held in place really when you when the model's fully assembled. It's not the best design in my opinion, but it could be worse, I suppose. It's not that solid. It does feel a little bit flimsy, but these ones feel okay. They don't feel too bad. I think the other one might feel a little bit looser actually. I could be wrong though. But yeah, as it is, this model though, they seem to be perfectly fine. They don't feel too loose, which is nice. You have got the separately fitted nameplates here. They don't come separately fitted when you buy the model. They do have to be separately fitted, basically by yourself. I had to refit one of them, because one of them came off. But they do look very good when you do fit them. As you can see there, they have got a nice bit of shine to them, which is good. You've got the separately fitted grills there as well. and you can see through them. You can see the engine detail inside as well, which is nice. You have got opening doors as well, and the cab detail. The cab detail inside these is really, really good as well. We do see better cabs, I think, on other models these days and brand new releases. But on this model, as it is very, very good. You can see you've got painted seats, you've got more painted detail on the interior as well. You can see the controls. It's really, really good. You've got separately fitted wipers as well, warning signs. You've got NEM kinematic couplings, which on this model actually feel quite nice. On my other Class 60s, they can feel a bit more stiff, but on this low-coat, they feel really, really good. It'd be nice if the springs were a bit quieter though, but not too bad. I do prefer couplings that are mounted to the bogies. They just feel a bit more solid in my opinion. But I suppose kinematic couplings are more realistic, but they can be a bit more of a pain, I find. They don't always perform that nicely. But yeah, overall, she's really, really good. One thing I will mention actually, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this in other reviews that I've done on the Class 60, but one of the things I will mention is the fuel tank on these. The fuel tank is not fitted to the model. It is loose, as you can see. If I wanted to, I can take it off. Now, that's not a quality error. That's not a fault. That's how it should be. The fuel tanks on these should not be glued on, and that's because if you ever need to replace the motor inside the Hornby Class 60s, this fuel tank needs to be removed. And I'll show you why. If I gently take it off, there we go. You can see just there, those two things there, and on the other side, those things there are the motor mounts. They are what hold the motor in place. Essentially, they're sort of two big chunks of like solid rubber or plastic. I think they're more solid rubber material, and they basically almost clip into the chassis here, and they basically clamp the motor, and that's how the motor is held in place. I don't know why Hornby have done it this way. I don't know why they couldn't just tool up some frame that the motor screws into or something, but for whatever reason, that's how they've done it on these models. And these motor mounts, if you ever need to take the motor out, you need access to these to either push them out or drill them out. I have had to replace a motor on a Hornby Class 60 before, and I ended up having to drill these out I basically had to drill small holes in the bottom of them there so that they would come out the chassis, because they are quite a tight fit. So whilst they do the job of holding the motor in place well, removing them is not easy. I must admit it. I'm going to warn you now. It's not easy to remove these motor mounts. But yeah, you really don't want to glue the fuel tank on these on, because if you do, and you need to replace the motor, yeah, you're going to be have a bit of a headache there. There you go, to put it back on. There you go. It's not going to fall off. There is quite a decent amount of friction holding it on. But yeah, just a warning: do not glue the fuel tank on, because it needs to come off if you ever need to replace the motor. Obviously, you should never really need to, but I've had to, so yeah, you never know, you might have to as well. But yeah, overall, a really, really fantastic model. So the next thing to do, well, first I'll just quickly show you how to remove the body on these, to put chips in and stuff. And then after that, we can put her on the track and see, well, I'll show you how amazing this model runs, because it runs really well. Okay, I've just come over to the workbench very quickly, so I'll just show you quickly how you actually remove the bodies on these. Just in case you're unsure how to and you want to know how to, I thought I'd show you how easy it actually is to remove the bodies on these, because there's no screws, it's just a few clips. There are people out there who complain that there's no clips on these because of the weight and stuff, but I can assure you the clips on these are more than capable of holding the body on this model. The body is not going to fall off that easily on these, I can assure you that. So literally, to remove the body on this, if you just hold it sort of round by the fuel tank or something, all you need to do is the clips are sort of around here somewhere. Just gently prise the body up. The clips will disengage. If I do the one here, it's sort of around underneath by the door is, or the cab door is. There we go. Then if I do the other side, there we go. Then we can gently prise the body off. It's It's a little bit of a tight fit on this one. Ooh, there we go. Then the body just lifts off nice and easily like that. The chips come a bit loose again. There we go. And that is literally how easy it is to remove the body on these. Just literally very carefully and prise the clips away from the body. Then you can gently ease the body up, and the body will come off fairly easily. And on these versions, the newer versions, this is roughly what you'll be greased with inside. I'm not sure if maybe other versions have, maybe newer versions on this have, they might have plugs connecting the circuit board or something. There are older versions out there that do that, but I'm fairly certain that on these newer versions, it should just be these copper contacts, or the metal contacts here that just contact the chassis from the body here. You can just see there the copper plates there, and they just contact the chassis, and that is literally just how the lights connect to the chassis. It's nice and easy. There's no plugs to faff around with, which older versions of this model do have, which they're a bit more of a pain, but at least they still work. But overall, inside, it's not too bad on these. The circuit board is nice and easy. You've got your 8-pin sockets, as you can just see just there. Fitting a chip is nice and easy. You don't have to secure the chip in place where I've put it. You could secure it over here somewhere in this gap over here. I just chose to put it here because, well, this is where I ended up choosing it, I suppose. But overall inside, it's not too bad on these. The motor is obviously just underneath the circuit board. It's a very big, nice chunky motor with 2 big flywheels. And overall the mechanism isn't too bad. It's very, very smooth. It's not the easiest to maintain, I suppose. But overall, it's a really good mechanism. I can't really fault it. It does. The loco does perform incredibly well. But anyway, if we just put the body back on, again, putting the body back on is just as easy as taking it off. Just got to make sure you get it lined up properly. And it should go back on nice and easy, if we just make sure. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Nice and easy. Body's back on as it should be. Nice and easy. So now we can head over to the layout now, and we can see just how well this beast of a loco performs. Okay, we can now put the loco on finally after enough fapping around. So if we just put the wheels on, it's fairly simple. And there we go. There we go. Nice and easy. She's on. So if we just select her number, I believe she's this. There we go. If we just put the lights on, there we go. We can see the headlights there. If I just move the loco back a little bit. And as you can see, this is one of the things about the Trainomatic decoders that's really good, out of the many things that's good about them. Obviously, the main thing that I find that's better about them is the price. These are cheaper than some of the other, well, so-called budget decoders out there, which aren't as good as these. These are about £18 or so on eBay, and they are really, really good decoders. I really can't fault them. If you want to get budget decoders for your locos, these are the decoders to go for, because they are so, so good. Again, as I just mentioned, the price is good. The functionality is really good as well. Obviously, on function 0, you have the typical running lights, and you get this nice fade effect as they go on and off. And even if you change direction as well, you get a nice fading effect. There we go. We can see the tail lights there as well. But the other good thing about the functionality is those are not the only functions you have. Functions 1 and 2 are the running lights in each direction. So you could, for example, if I do function 1, actually I'll do function 2 actually. Those are the running lights, obviously, if the loco going in this direction. But now, it doesn't matter which direction I tell the loco to go in, those are the lights that will always be on. So it's really good for things like shunting. If you want the loco to go backwards, but with the headlights on this way, and also the tail lights on for this direction as well, then you can do that. There are other budget decoders out there which are more expensive than this, Hornby being a prime example, where you can't do that. If I just show you, I'll show you how good the performance is as well. It's ever so slightly jerky, but it's barely noticeable, to be honest. And you can see how smooth this is. It's so, so good. And as you can see, going backwards, but still got the same lights on. And it's the same for the others as well. Obviously, function 1 is just the lights for the other direction. because obviously now I can still go back this way. But as you can see, I've still got the other lights on. So functionality like that, like whilst it's probably not wanted by everyone, it's still really good functionality. Again, for a really good price. I'll put the regular running lights back on now, so the light has changed whatever direction we're going in. The other function, there's one more function on this decoder as well, and that's function 3. Function 3 is the shunting speed, which is basically half the speed of whatever. It basically halves the speed of whatever speed the loco is doing at the time. This is speed step 1, I believe. I think it's speed step 1. If I stop the loco, I'll get it to go as slow as you can. There we go. This is speed step 1 with shunting speed activated. Perfectly smooth, not quite silent, but still really good. Perfectly smooth. Well, what does this tell you? There are more expensive budget decoders out there that can't do this. They can't do anywhere close to this. It's just amazing. Oh, I don't know what else to say really. I think we've got to get her running and see what else she can do. So let's get it going. I'll do about 50% speed and we'll see what she's like. So this is about 50% speed, it might be just above it. As you can see, just as good as the slow speed, perfectly smooth, silent. Just shows you don't have to spend over £20 for a budget decoder, or even a decent decoder. This decoder, again, this is a Trainomatic decoder, £18, and the performance is better than some of the more expensive budget decoders out there. It's just amazing. Can you just see how amazing this is? I don't know what to say, it's so good. Why can't manufacturers such as Hornby make budget decoders that perform this well? I mean, don't get me wrong, Hornby's decoders, they're okay. In some locos they do perform very well. But in most locos the performance from them isn't that good. It's obviously very jerky at low speeds, not a lot of functionality, and they're more expensive. I think the RRP is about, well, I think the rough price that these go for is around £25 maybe. This decoder is around £7 cheaper than that, and the performance is twice as good. Oh, I don't know. But I think you'll agree, this loco, it's amazing. There's very little negativity to say about it really. I'd say apart from the slightly dodgy bogey frame design, which is not great, it's quite delicate. Apart from that, there's not much else really that Hornby needs to change about this loco. I know the tooling's old, it's 2005 is when this tooling was designed. But even now, it's still a really good loco. If you need a Hornby Class 60, you need to get one. They're just amazing models. And they're strong, that's one thing as well. These models are very strong, just like the real thing. Wow. I don't think I need to say anything else really. I think she said it all. I think the only other thing I need to say really is just buy one. Buy a Hornby Class 60. Every modern image layout needs one. They really do.